Good afternoon and welcome to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And those of you who did have a long weekend, I hope that was enjoyable as well. And I hope you're staying safe and sane with everything is still going on. I'll be very honest with you. I'm not necessarily surprised, but I am kind of puzzled that some of the election results are still up in the air. And it seems to not really technically bother many people. But what do I know, right? As I was told recently, I'm no expert on election fraud. Well, let me start there. You don't have to be an expert on election fraud to be bothered with election fraud in your country. You don't have to be a constitutional lawyer to be bothered with unconstitutional actions taken in your country. You don't have to be an expert of anything to be bothered by what's happening to your country. That's just the bottom line. Maybe that's one of the reasons that many people aren't bothered, because society has somehow told us if you're not an expert, you shouldn't have an opinion or feeling towards something. Well, I would like to say I don't agree with that statement. If you're an American, just today we're going to stick with America as much as possible. If you're an American, you should have an opinion, you should have feelings, and you should have some sort of action involved, reaction to what happens to America. Main reason I say that is, first of all, it is your country. It is your homeland. It is your home. To have no opinion, to have no emotions or feelings or actions, that's kind of, I don't know. I don't even know who would accept that. But the second reason I say that is, remember, America is the only country that has the concept of we the people, meaning we the people are the bosses in this country. Now, are we acting like it? No. Or do most people even remember America is pretty much ran by the people? No. But that doesn't change the actual fact about how America was built and what it should stand for. It doesn't change that. Over the weekend, as kindly Michael Lauber sat in alone, had a special guest, Derek Evans, on. He mentioned that I'm actually taking the day off because last week was so hectic, emotionally draining, and a lot of work because we were doing the special coverage for election, that I took the day. Now, normally when it's the anti-Semitism is taking a day off, it's not that I'm, out there playing golf or, doing the normal things people do on their day off. No, I took the day off to do some studying and watch some documentaries and gather some thoughts, because I'm more of an action-oriented type of person. I do talk. I do try to educate people, which on its own is action. But then I also like to have a solution or a suggestion when I bring up a problem. I don't like to be the one who just complains about a problem. I like to complain about it, point out the problem, and then have some sort of solution or suggest that solution for the problem. On that note, I took this weekend to do some studying. I'm going to start from here. I watched the documentary by HBO Max, yet to my surprise again, that how much it's been said, HBO is a woke channel, yada yada. This is the fourth documentary I've watched on HBO that is anything but woke, besides the point. Name of the documentary, The Swamp. I would say normally it's a wrong term, but for lack of a better term, the star of Swamp as Matt Gaetz and some other Congress members, some senators involved, explaining how deep the swamp is. It was very frustrating to get through the documentary, not because it wasn't made well, not because it wasn't covering a lot of truth, but because it was painful to watch his documentary and come to realize how deep the swamp is. How corruption has literally formed a full-on uniform around our government in America. And it seems to go still fairly, very unnoticed. I mean, we all use the term the swamp But I don't know how much everyone who uses the term swamp does actually tangibly understand and grasp the idea of how bad the swamp is. Their opening intro, if you have seen it, you know what I'm referring to. If you haven't, I would say please do take time to watch it. It is very, in no specific side of the parties, but in general, for an American, it's a very educational, very, very informative documentary. Now, on the opening, actually, how they did it is, you know, of course, using CG and animation work. They, like, everything of White House in the Congress is like literally up to neck in the swamp to represent the depth of swamp. As I was watching this, as I said, you know, some information was something, well, I was aware of. Some information absolutely was, whoa, wait, what? One of the things that caught my attention as to why it's not being addressed as much, or sometimes honestly at all, was the fact that the positions in assigned committee to Congress members, all the way from, you know, the Speaker of the House to smaller committees, which on the documentary they broke it into 3 categories, A, B, and C, has absolutely nothing to do with experience or of expert. None of that. Nothing. Like literally, it has everything to do with who can raise more money. I can't remember exactly the sentence that was used by the person who's talking about this breakdown, but it was, you know, paraphrasing or just getting a gist of it is basically if you're a good fundraiser, you get a higher position in Congress. Just like that. And then that's not mentioned, as mentioned on the documentary. I just want to make sure I do keep saying, because this is not some brilliant thing that I went and discovered on my own. I just simply watched the documentary The Swamp to figure this out or be informed of it. Another part of it is the level of how much money they need to bring in to keep their seats, is where I got lots of my answer of why are these rhinos, if we call them, or some of the good people who go in and later on start, you know, kind of swinging between decisions and bills and votes. This is how it happens. Because unless they accept to receive donation and lobby for specific groups and organizations, they're going to lose their seat. And they don't want to lose that seat. So they start, you know, working with lobbyists for different groups, corporations, you know, I don't know, governments. And that's how we have got to where we have got to as far as our Congress goes. Before the midterm, I was on one of the days I was on with Brian House on his radio, and we were talking about, let's pray that not only we have some of the good guys elected, but also let's make sure by the time they take office, they have not been corrupt. Again, paraphrasing what Brandon said was, a lot of them do win and they have good intentions, but by the time they get to office, by the time, you know, between January 1st and 20th, depending on the state, a lot of them are already bought out. So we thought we voted a good guy in the office, but they take office and their actions will start being different. A lot of time we call it as, oh, they were liars and they campaigned a bunch of lies, but sometimes it's not actually a lie. They really meant to do what they said, but then by the time they got to office, boom, they were bought out. And I'm not, please understand, I'm not justifying their action, nor am I siding with them. I'm just trying to explain what I have to come to realize over the weekend by specifically concentrating on this swamp, let's call it, I don't know, the swamp. We have 435 seats in Congress. I should be more specific. We have 435 voting members in the Congress. And then we have 100 senators. 435 Congress members. I was discussing this morning with a good friend of mine, this idea, and you know how it is, I discuss it off air and then I bring it on air. I was like, isn't that interesting that we have which at that point I should admit that I actually had the number of seats wrong. I don't know why I had 2 extra. 437 just sounded so much better in my head. But 435, like, isn't it interesting? We have 435 people who are voting. 435. But at the end of the day, every 2 years, when there's a re-election, what we concentrate on are those who got a spotlight, who got TV time, who made the most noise, either positive or negative, which might be 10. Okay, fine, 20 Congress members. 20 Congress members get the attention, get the spotlight, and we concentrate on voting them back in or not. 435 voting members, 20 people make us concentrate on them, as I said, good or bad, while 415 voting members with right to vote are doing their own thing, as I'd like to say, flying under the radar, voting bills in. So, one of the solutions, at least I feel like it's gonna be very helpful, and I will take the initiative to start doing it, is if there are 435 representatives, guess what? 435 representatives should be held accountable, not just 10 or 20 of them. Regardless of who's in what committee and who's bringing how much money and who we like more than somebody else, we gotta stop this concentrated fight. Oh, this person is under attack and we like him. Let's just go there and spend all of our time and energy to defend them. Oh, this person is under attack. We don't like him. Let's put all of our energy and time into bashing them. We need to start looking at Congress as one entity, which is Congress is one entity. 435 people are involved. And a lot of time, if you actually pay attention and go look up some of their history of their vote, you come to realize, oh, it's time to make this one famous or make that one famous. I use the term famous. I hope you understand. It's a figure of a speech. It's not the threat that a lot of people use out there, unfortunately. Do pardon me, my English is basic. I use things that mean the same thing. So when I say famous, I mean someone who's voting yes on all the unconstitutional bills. We need to talk about them. We need to tell their district people that, hey, hello, your representative is doing such and such and such, so you may want to consider the next election not to re-elect them. And I understand right now the biggest thing in everybody's head is, who cares about voting anymore? Who cares about election anymore? They stole the election again. Yes, they did. And we're done. I'll address that after the break. But for this part, we need to pay attention to every single representative. Now, I understand 435 representative. It's a big number for one person to handle, which, as I said, I will take the initiative to try to handle. But you as one person, you don't need to pay attention to all 435. All you need to do is pay constant attention to your own representative from your own district. But that's the problem. As I said, a lot of time, I'm throwing names out there in no specific order, neither fan or not. It's just names that are always out there. You know, we got Ilhan Omar, we got Rashida Tlaib, we have AOC, we have Marjorie Taylor Greene, we have Jim Jordan. These are the names that constantly circulates, right? Everybody's paying attention to these names. And I'm not saying one way or another, they're good, they're bad. That's besides the point. I hope I know you get my point. We need to start holding ourselves accountable to follow through and hold our representatives accountable. Look into your own representative, your own district every day. Just very quickly check what they did today. Did they push in a bill? Did they co-sign or co-sponsor a bill? Did they vote yes? Did they vote no? What did they do? It's like 5 minutes a day. That's it, just 5 minutes a day. And then when you do find either good or bad, and that's the thing, this isn't all about just exposing it. And part of the discussion was, one thing we lack is there are so many unknown names of Congress members who are doing great job for our country, but they go unnoticed because we're so busy praising the famous names. We need to learn to spread the love and the support and not worry about, are we supporting the famous name out there and the big name and whomever, is on Fox and CNN and even on Lindell TV. Are we supporting everyone who's doing the right thing? If you do come to realize your representative in your district is doing a good job, you can personally show them support in different ways. And by the way, when I say support, I'm not talking money, just to be clear. Or if you see them do negative or something that's hurting the country or bills that are unconstitutional, then you can call them out on their misbehavior or unconstitutional activities. I don't know why this sounds extremely simple, but it's still effective to me, because I feel like Congress has gone on for decades with absolutely no supervision, with absolutely never being held accountable, except action of few people. As I said, this is action of few people. I don't think it's the right way to continue doing, where we generalize Congress under 5, 10, maybe 20 people's actions and reactions, while so many of their own followers are flying under the radar, voting for things they shouldn't, voting for things they should. You get the gist of what I'm saying. That is just how I feel like it could be a very good step towards somehow being able to know at least whom we're dealing with, not who's representing those that we deal with. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, I will try to talk about the little steps forward into what are the other things I have kind of thought about doing and asking you to do to might possibly help the situation, especially our election fraud. I will talk about that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. This is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work.
The new MyPillow towels are exclusively made with 100% USA combed cotton with proprietary technology and with maximum absorbency. They dry you faster and are guaranteed to work.
I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow. And to thank you for all your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you get my dog beds for as low as $19.99. Or for a limited time, you can get my 6-piece towel sets, regularly $109.99, now only $39.99. The lowest price ever with your promo code.
Extractgevity is an all-natural energy and health drink developed by Brannon House several years ago with a team of experts. Extractgevity supports a healthy heart, strong immunity, skin, hair and nails, cognitive health, and cellular health. This all-natural energy drink is loaded with antioxidants. But don't take our word for it. Do your own research to find the benefits of red wine extract, bilberry extract, grapeseed extract, pine bark extract, and vitamin C. Brannon credits Extractgevity in part for his abundance of energy and good health. Order your 30-day supply now at mystore.com. Be sure to use the promo code on the screen for a generous discount. Extractgevity, your all-natural source for energy and good health. Find it at mystore.com.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. Please do go to mystore.com, mypillow.com, use the promo code AC21 if you'd like to support this broadcast and everything else I do. I will greatly appreciate that. Also, if you'd like to purchase a Christmas gift for family members or friends that is one of a kind, handmade, and found nowhere else, you can go to my artist store, lutfstudio.com. lutfstudio.com. Use the promo code Frank, and that way you can also support what I do. We did just load a new batch of art pieces on my store, so go in there and check it out. Back to election fraud. Yes, they stole the election. I mean, I don't. Is anyone surprised? I don't think anybody should be surprised. If you're surprised, that means you were giving yourself false hope and were not paying attention to what's coming. I do apologize for being blunt, but that's the way it is. If this election, this midterm shocked you, surprised you in any shape or form, you were not paying attention and you were holding on to false hope. Now, I'm not going to drag the situation. Experts have covered the fraud, the evidence, all of that, and last almost comes tomorrow week, right here on Lindell TV, between Brannon House, Mike Lindell, Jeff O'Donnell, Michelle Sweeney, Diamond and Silk, Steve Bannon, on and on. You have heard the evidence. You have heard the problem. Now, even though I'm not an expert, one thing I do know, and that is elections in America, election laws, rules, regulation, systems are a state-based and not federal-based. They are a state-based. Florida pretty much called everything like that. It was all good to go. There was not a drop of evidence of election fraud, not a shred of evidence that anybody even attempted to hijack the election in Florida. Why? Because DeSantis decided for the last 2 years to make sure anybody who would even imagine to do anything of election fraud or steal election, they would face serious consequences, very serious consequences. You see, that's a state base. That was not a federal decision. That wasn't something federal government did. That was something that the state government in Florida did. He has received a lot of heat. I've seen lately there's a little bit of, division going on. That's normal. That's life. That's politics. I do apologize. Emma's back up here again. But he did what was right. He did what was right. At least when it comes to election integrity. He did what was right. So, one suggestion, my humble opinion, is maybe it is time for us, the people, to start concentrating on our governors. Unfortunately, in absolute shock, at the last rally of ESNS, I had someone there telling me, I'm not really worried who become the governor because governors don't really hold any power. My jaw dropped. I'm like, I'm sorry, one more time. What? Did you just tell me you don't care nor do worry who becomes the governor of Nebraska because they don't hold much power? Are you kidding me? So on that note, and again, doing some study over the weekend, I'm like, maybe it's time for everybody to actually look into what a government does, could do, and what are the powers they hold. Then when you come to realize all of that, maybe it's time to start knocking at your governor's door. Seriously. I don't believe for a second your voice won't matter. I do believe we still have more than enough Republican governors across America that a little bit of push and pressure would get them to do what they should do. And state by state, this is a very solvable issue if we go and use the right remedy. A state is the remedy, not the federal government. It's just the way it is. It is the way it is. Enough of us, possibly with the backing and support of a constitutional lawyer, or just simply a lawyer who can look into our letters and petitions to confirm that legal terms are properly used, if you don't know how to use them yourself, you can put more than enough pressure. Because if you're waiting for the next time where you're going to get a good candidate elected for your governor to do the job on their own, well, let's not do that. We have this saying in Farsi, I don't know how much it's going to lose meaning in translation, but it says, you got away once, I wasn't fast enough, you got away twice, I wasn't fast enough, you got away 3 times, I don't think I care to catch you. First election. Second one. You're really going to risk it for the third one on 2024 when we have the presidential race going on? I'm not. And as you know, I don't ask anyone to do anything that I have not already done or am about to do. So I will personally start taking initiative to hear where I'm at, to start communicating with our governor who will take office in January. And I will provide any support that could help them make this change. That's the thing. You go look at yourself as the boss. when the boss asks the employee to do something for them, they also provide the needed tools, environment. When you get hired to do what I do, for example, I need the somewhat of a good computer to do the editing. I need good internet to, get the shows on the website. All of that is provided by the boss. So when you go demanding changes, make sure you also support and help with the process. I only have about 4 minutes left, and I want to talk about one more thing before we wrap up. So, conclusion on the election thing, I really think we got to start working state level instead of constantly federal level. Just personal opinion. And also, I forgot to mention, our second ESNS rally is going to happen. We have the permit. We're working on few details. However, December 8th, Thursday, December 8th, we're going to be there at 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. in front of ESNS building in Omaha, Nebraska. If you like to join, if you know someone who likes to join, if you can spread the word, that would be greatly appreciated. If not, that is all right too. Last thing I want to cover today before I wrap up is, again, over the weekend, one thing I realized is when you talk to most Americans, they are overwhelmed, extremely overwhelmed because of so many issues and dangers and attack. There's the inflation, there's the gas prices, a shortage of food, there is, cold winter, shortage of this, shortage of that, there's a terrorist attack. There is so much, the abortion issue, the Democrats hating. There is so much chaos of issues that would easily overwhelm one. It would easily make you either feel defeated, or this is too much, who's going to fix it all? And I was sitting there literally thinking, I'm like, it's a lot. I will not in any shape or form even attempt to disagree. It is absolutely a lot. But then, if you would put all of this chaos, all line them up in one line, like literally figuratively, just line them up next to each other. Don't look at the chaos at all. Just ignore the chaos. And instead of looking at the chaos, start looking at the root of the chaos. If you look at it as a puppet, look at the strings to see where the puppeteer is, right? If you would do that, you would very easily and very simply come to realize, oh, wait, all of this chaos on the floor that I racked up create this one wonderful straight up pyramid that is connected to federal government of United States of America. Just like that. Take a moment, if you would. Take a moment and line up some of the overwhelming issues that you personally think about every day, and line them up and see where it goes. See if you see the pyramid I'm explaining, from all of it to some of it to a small portion of it, federal government. On that note, we don't have to fight or solve any of these chaotic issues that is overwhelming and exhausting and defeating us internally. We don't. We just need to go straight for head of the snake. Head of the snake. The federal government of the United States of America. Now, how do we do that? I'll be more than happy to do some more study and bring you some suggested solutions. But at least for now, let's take solace in knowing we don't have so many issues to fix. We don't have so many fights to fight. Let's conclude on we have one issue, which is an extremely corrupted, greedy, and godless government in America. And we have one fight, which is for our freedom. Just put it at that, and it will give you enough strength and peace of mind and calmness in your heart to take away that anxiety, that stress, that worriness. Then we can operate much better, because when you're fighting one enemy or one issue, you kind of sort of think better, you react better, you plan better, you take better actions towards it. But I am out of time, so please make sure to go to my store in mypillow.com if you're doing any Christmas shopping. Use the promo code AC21. That way you will support Lindell TV, Frank Speech, Mike Lindell, and this is specific broadcast if you like to support it, as you will get discounts. Also, if you want to purchase a Christmas gift for family members or friends that is one of a kind, handmade, nowhere else to be found. You can go to my artist store, lutfstudio.com, lutfstudio.com, abbreviation of Live Up to Freedom, lutfstudio.com. Use the promo code Frank. And please stay safe, stay vigilant, stay calm, keep looking at the bright side. There are solutions, there are ways. We are not done yet. May God bless you. May God bless America. Goodbye, guys.